Okay, we're back. Okay, what's up, yardies? Welcome back to the tour. Welcome to the Backyard Variety Tour. As always, I'm your host, Ian Pozz, and hey, look, let the hair down. Feeling whatever. You know, I was just like, brr, 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 my pony, jump, whatever. You got it. My pony, jump on it. No pony, don't wear it. Hey, there it is. Fuck it, you got it. Brr, brr, brr. My pony. What's up, yardies? Welcome back to the show. As always, I'm your host, Ian Pozz, and this is the Backyard Variety Tour. And doing a little something new, we're letting the hair, let your hair hang low. I don't know if that's really a Bob Marley song. Let your hair down low. I don't know, but we're doing it. Brr, brr, brr. Jump on it, my pony. What do we got going on today? Today we're going to have Boston Comic Dave Vadala. Boston Comic Dave Vadala. Make sure you stick around for that. We'll find out how the hell he heard about us. We don't even know. How did I even book him on the show? I don't know what's going on. Yeah, so Sports Insider is going to be going on. That's what's going to be happening. Man, with my hair down, this show kind of turned into like a surf. This is not somebody you would ever see on a talk show. That was the problem. That was the problem. The ponytail was the problem. Wow, it certainly didn't look like I fucked with it.
Cancelled.
Okay. So it was the pony. Always the ponies. Hey, you guys want to go down to the show and bet on the ponies? No, because they always lose.
Let that be a lesson to you, Johnny. The ponies always lose.
Dad, are we talking about the horses?
No, son. The hair, damn it.
I'm so fat. Okay. Here we go. That was the problem. It was the pony. Of course you need hair like this. What other talk show do you see is this wild? Let your hair hang down. I don't know. That's not even Okay. Okay. We're having a lot of fun today. Having a lot of fun. Dave Vadala is going to be here. What else? Here we go. Let's get into the sports. So Sports Insider's coming up. That's going to be a lot of fun. We got a new sponsor for that, Flying Monkeys Craft Brewery. Very exciting. That's going to be a lot of fun. Very excited to be working with them. That's going to be coming up, probably release date April 1st, April Fool's Day, something like that. Okay, so keep your eyes peeled for then. Just want to thank the new secret weapon behind the scenes. The secret weapon we have behind the scenes, that's the person. Well, can you even call them a person? I don't know. They're more of a machine, just really a machine. So we want to thank the secret weapon behind the scenes and a lot of the stuff going on. And Russell, we want to thank Russell too. Of course, we couldn't do this without Russell. So as always, thanks to Russell. But we got a new secret weapon behind the scenes that I'm speechless. We're going to do a Masters. Got a couple fun episodes coming up, actually. A couple fun episodes. We got the Sports Insider coming up that we're filming in about a week or so, putting it all together. It should come out around April Fool's Day. After that, we're going to have a Masters episode for golf. So the Masters is going to be coming up. And then even after that, we're going to have an Oscars episode. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on, a lot of fun. Probably definitely going to have Flying Monkeys sponsor one of those future episodes as well. And maybe somebody else. We'll see. So make sure you stay tuned for all that. And coming up for guests, we have a couple more exciting guests coming up as well. Just got to finalize some details with them. So we're still doing the conversations and everything like that. And if you have suggestions, please send your suggestions in as well. Always open to suggestions of hearing who you may want to hear about, or if you may know someone and have contact through them, throw a suggestion our way either on Twitter, which is Backyard Variety Tour without any vowels, other than Y, because sometimes Y, but Y isn't there. And Backyard Variety Tour on Instagram, of course. So send into our socials, any suggestions, anything like that for guests or partnerships or sponsorships or anything like that. And And also that reminds me that the Sports Insider contest is actually going to be voted through Twitter. Our Twitter gets the least amount of love, but it's going to be voted through Twitter. So you're going to have to head on there to vote for who you think is going to be the Sports Insider champion, because it's not only going to be up to me, it's going to be up to everybody who's watching to be able to vote, and even the friends of the people who are competing. We're just going to try and drive some traffic to to the bank. Oh, God, choking on my own rage here. God damn. It's like a lion mane. My hair looks good. I mentioned we're filming the Sports Insider next week, so that's going on. Coming up next is Dave Vadala. Do I have any half-assed jokes or anything prepared? Let me see. March Madness is going on. We got 3 brackets going on. 3 brackets going on right now for Sports Insider. BBT, my bracket, the Secret Sports Insider bracket, and of course Zucker's bracket. And Zucker's bracket's doing the best, I'm doing the worst, and the Secret Sports Insider is hello. And speaking of the NCAA, let's get into our rantin' and ravin'. The NCAA on TSN, and basically how TSN is butchering their coverage of the NCAA. Every game that was so close, dying seconds, possibly heading to OT, they'd switch away to a game that was just starting the second half. The first few times they did it, I was like, okay, that was weird. That must have been some sort of mistake, or maybe there's a technical difficulty or something like that. So I started switching around on all the other TSN channels, and it was just them talking at a panel. I'm like, the game had 35 seconds left, and it was 1 point away. They were almost tied, or it was going to come down to a shot. What do you do? What's going on? So I'd be like, where did that tied game go? Where did it go? What's happening? Why is this happening? And the announcers would just be sitting at their desk shuffling papers, being like, yeah, so then this and that. And I'm like, the game. It's like, this is what I'm watching. I wasn't watching for the 37 minutes earlier. I'm watching for the 3 minutes at the end when the game is close and it's coming down to one shot and you get to see all the drama and excitement, and you're pulling away? You're pulling out? So what did I do? I go to the Score app on my phone, not even watching. And this is after I paid for the subscription for the month to get TSN specifically to watch the NCAA tournament. And you can't even handle it properly? I'm flipping through the Score app on my phone being like, okay, what was the score in that game heading to OT? Oh, it went to OT? Oh, and the team still won by 1 point? Or 2 points or a shot or anything? And you're like, what? And after the first few times, I was like, okay, but after it happened a bunch, I was like, whoa, who is directing this mess? You are screwing it up for all your viewers. The only reason why most people who aren't normal basketball fans, who don't follow all the way through the year, are watching is for the drama within like the last 3 minutes. The shot, the one shot, and everyone going, yeah, we did it. The huge upset. You're pulling away from games at the most crucial part. What are you thinking? How is that good television? Get it together, TSN. What are you thinking? Plain and simple, you're not. I paid a month's service for this coverage, and you don't even have Jay and Dan? You should be ashamed of yourselves, TSN. For shame. And that was Rantin' and Ravin'. Who is that guy? Almost like a man possessed. Okay, that's it. Let's get into the conversation with Boston comic Dave Vadala. Okay, so Dave Vadala, a Boston comic that can be seen mostly online these days. Dave also hosts the Comics Feature podcast, where he talks with comedians about movies that hit streaming services, and boy, do they hit back. Dave's comedy is mostly silly and fun, but it's limited to his intelligence, or in some cases, supercharged by it.
What's this?
Sounds like a self-written bio.
Wait a minute, who wrote this? Yeah.
So, man, thank you for being here. How did you hear about the show?
I listened to a lot of pods, and Zuckerberg figured that out, and I'm getting ads for all kinds of prestigious pods like yours, and I checked it out. And as a youth and into my manhood, I love playing in the backyard. So I mean, it just seemed like you and me, peanut butter meets chocolate, and it seemed like a good opportunity to really hash this.
And you asked about whether we're going to do shows in the backyard, and we'll probably do some shows in the backyard at some point. But it's also the metaphorical backyard, because it's a very grassroots, local kind of show. You know, I'm reaching out to other independent people who I know in the film business or artists or stuff like that. So it's also the metaphorical backyard.
Sure.
My backyard, your backyard, everybody's backyard. I want to talk about the ads a little bit more because I did promote those ads on purpose for that St. Patty's episode. One of my first times doing it for the podcast. Did you see it on Instagram or YouTube or what?
It was Instagram. Yeah, it was like just a story.
Born and raised in Boston yourself or no?
Yep, I'm from this area.
Nice.
Came from a suburban town. Are you from? From like the New England area, or I feel like you're? Why do I think you're from Canada, Ian?
I'm from Canada. You nailed it. Now, why did you think that?
I knew it. I don't know. You have a very clean sense about you. You're very eloquent, and I feel
Boy,
like
you certainly saved yourself there.
No, because I was talking to this other fellow. You wouldn't happen to know. This is a long shot. Sam Alamang.
Oh, Sam. Yeah, we go way back. No.
Yeah,
exactly. Old, like, everyone thinks Canada's like 4 people.
Canada's not just 4 square blocks of happy-going people like yourself.
Sam!
That's big time, Canada.
Yeah,
that's not.
We're doing all right. We're doing all right.
Hell yeah. Interesting. Yeah. No, it's just weird. You get I'm a bit, psychic sometimes.
Clairvoyant. I actually have a character that I want to name her Clairvoyance.
Not bad.
She's part of a superhero. She's part of a superhero gang with another lady named Barb Dwyer. Barb.
I like that. Hold on.
I got to think of a couple more. So Clairvoyance, Barb Dwyer. What else? Some more female superhero names.
Oh, yes. You could also go, let's see.
Good for you if you get
lipstick
one, man.
Natcher. Someone who would steal another lady's lipstick, but like she can't help it. And like, I don't know. Like, did they all?
No one's name is Lipstick Natcher. It has to be. You see what I'm going
for?
Oh,
I see.
Barb Dwyer.
No,
and then, okay. That's with her thing. Claire. Voyance.
Okay, so it can't be like flare gun, right? That's too.
Flare. that could be a girl's name. Flare. That's awesome. Flare
I
gun.
feel like we have Claire and then Claire and Flare.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Good for you, man, for thinking that, because those ones I put more time into.
Yeah, it just popped out. Okay, no.
Good for you.
Oh shoot. I really want one by the end of the call from me that is at least on the same, I can put it next to the pedestal, like on the bottom,
Yeah.
I'll keep you posted on that.
We'll get there. Yeah. I love it. All right. So, you're born and raised in Boston. Heard about the Backyard Variety Tour. I want to ask you about a couple movies, because I don't know if you saw, we did a Boston themed episode for St. Patty's Day of me and my friend Zucker, love movies, and we talk about movies a lot. So we did favorite Boston themed movies for our St. Patty's Day episode.
Ooh.
Departed was both of our numbers 3s. I had Celtic Pride in mine. I had Black Mass. I had The Friends of Eddie Coyle. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Oh man, that's been on my list for the longest time. That and The Verdict have just been haunting me. And have you seen The Verdict?
That was one that I didn't see.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that I know it seems like work, but if you just give it that fucking first 10 minutes, you'll just
you'll fall right
away.
in.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was on. It wasn't on Zucker's list. It was on his honorable mentions though. But he has seen.
Oh, okay.
So what's one of your favorite Boston themed movies? Because obviously people from the area are going to be a bit more critical of things going on or accents or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe there's one I haven't heard of or something.
Yeah, I think there's a couple gems in the rough, you could say, and very few are kind of bad, I guess. And I know that's weird to say because obviously I'm biased and I enjoy just seeing hey, it's Billy T on screen there, my fucking neighbor. But it's more I don't know. I feel like they know that there's so much pride and like unattained or unearned like hubris attached to it. Like they're just like afraid to get it wrong from all the Boston loudmouths. But there's even that movie that came out on Netflix, Spencer Confidential. That is just like a really fun watch. Mark Wahlberg out of prison, and he went to prison because he beat up some corrupt cop and all this stuff. And Alan Alda's there for some reason, and there's a girl in it, and she's just terrible. And but it's just a fun watch. But in all seriousness, did you guys talk about Gone Baby Gone?
We did. It was on Zucker's list. It probably could have easily been on my list. I just had some different picks.
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's I really didn't like it until because you're kind of waiting for things to kick in for a long time. But you know, as a resident of all the areas that they're talking about, like you're just like, yeah, that place does suck. That place sucks too. Like you're just like totally all in on it. Sound of Metal actually films, although not really a Boston movie, but filmed in and around Boston. Pretty good. It's free on Amazon Prime right now, and nommed for an Oscar. So,
do you know what year that's from?
This year.
Oh, is it with Riz Ahmed? I'm pretty sure that's by, I don't know if it's by a Canadian director, but I just watched an interview with the director anyways through the Directors Guild Ontario, like YouTube channel. So I think the director might be Canadian even of that. And it's about Riz Ahmed, and he's deaf and he's playing the drums, and the trailer is super intense. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's a super fun movie.
Okay, Boston comics. So when did you, I heard Boston's one of the hardest cities to do comedy in. When did you start doing comedy in Boston?
I mean, I'd say officially probably, what year is it now? Probably like 2018 really started, you know, going in for it. And I did it a lot in college too, but I took a long break and like just thought about it like every day that I wasn't doing it. And yeah, Boston's a really weird city to do comedy in. And I feel like other places I've done it, people are more accepting to like you. Although I feel like I've done more like shows outside of Boston than I have done like versus like when you go to an open mic anywhere, like the crowd has to decide if they like you. And I feel like especially like in Boston, it's really hard to break through that you know, kind of barrier because there's just so many white dudes. It's like I get annoyed as a white dude. I'm like, oh great, another fucking white guy. Yeah, it's a weird place. I know just even like growing up, like adults like they don't suffer fools like for kids either. They're just like, hey kid, you know, you're in the way, like fucking beat it. Like there's no element of like, oh, a little guy. Like it's just like, all right, hey, let's go.
Right. There's something I love about that
our content.
That's something I love. I am like I appreciate that. It's like a New York or a Boston or a big city vibe, I would say, you know, where you don't have time to mince words. It's just like, just say what you mean. I heard this story. I don't know if you watched This Is Not Happening, Ari Shafir's old show where they used to tell true stories in like a strip club or something. And Greg Fitzsimmons' story about like the greatest heckler ever, the most stone cold heckler, and his story about the guy in This Is Not Happening is like one of my favorite. And it's about being in like a Boston club. I check it. I go back and just listen to that story every once in a while and just be like, not only is it a great story, but it tells you so much about the scene too, at least back then. And
totally. Yeah, no, I mean, apparently, I mean, I'm not telling any secrets. It was obviously super racist back then. It had real like teeth and edge and even meanery. It's like you watch those old Stephen King movies and like the bullies are so evil. And you're like, kids were not this fucking evil, but it's like, no, man, maybe they were in Boston in the North Shore area or like in the fucking like the New England area. They're like, who would stab a kid if they're 13 and the kid's 8? It's like, no, that's Boston, man. We had some mean ass fucking kids. Stephen King.
Some tough kids. You host the Comics Feature podcast at the Comics Feature. What is the Comics Feature? Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, the Comics Feature is a bunch of fun. It's always a fun hang regardless. And I'm like this with shows too, where if like they're covering a movie I don't want to see, or like I'm like half curious about it, like we make like the most out of what we're quote given. But yeah, basically we pick a movie, we review it on the Wahlberg scale. So like a really good movie, of course, is a mark. It's an Oscar, which is his brother, which no one knows this, but he does. Hashtag Oscar exists. And the last, element is the Donnie, of course, which is not a great, it's just not good, basically. And then there's a hypothetical, category for the absolute, unwatchable, and people can tune in to check out, what that level is called. But it's a fun thing. We do have a spoiler section at the very end. So like I had the idea, like much like doing and performing stand up, like I think about it all the time. And this was just an idea. Also, I had marinating for like a super long time as well. And the format is a little rigid. It's something I'm still kind of working on, but I mean, I have a lot of fun, and people seem to enjoy it. So been trying to figure out how to market that stuff too, and getting actually a clip animated from the show to kind of promote the word and all that. But it's a pretty fun and rewarding experience overall. I mean, you should definitely stop by. You just got to pick something that's kind of recent, because we find that the more recent films seem to trend better. And there was one, like every time I do it, like we just did Coming to America, which is kind of an abomination on a small scale. It's and I was like, what is this episode even going to be? And I think it turned out to be really good with this other comedian, Akia Doku, and she actually liked the movie, and I was like kind of making fun of it, and it made for like an interesting kind of dynamic.
And then what is Boston accent? Boston accent. Do you write for that or something? Or
Boston
is it yours? Or?
It's not mine. I do try to. So basically, it's kind of like a Boston version or a New Englander version of The Onion. And I try to get in 1 or 2 submissions every month. It's been more like one. March, I have not done shit. I'm going to have to maybe email them so I can still remain a part of the pack. I'm not sure how that works, but this month's been wild. But basically, it's just like New England satire. But I think it translates fairly well, because in the last 10 years, Boston has wonderfully just became like the butt of the joke for like so many things. So I think it has like, mass appeal. You with me, Ian? With me, baby. Sorry. Yeah. So it's definitely everyone should follow at the Boston accent. It's a lot of fun to write for, and it's a lot of fun to get rejected from too. Local man rambles nothing on a podcast. I don't know. I mean, because the thing is, for me, like I just appreciate like thin sliced like pizza. I don't like the deep dish thing. I don't think. I'm not going to be like, it's not pizza. Like, I'm sure it's pizza. Like, I'm sure I would enjoy eating it with a knife and fork, whatever. Like, if it's tasty, it's tasty. Like, you don't have to choose one. Like, no one's saying like, it's not like those memes where it's like, what if you could choose between a mansion or if you could have like a sleigh full of, fucking caviar and weed and bricks of fucking like cocaine. It's like, but you can only choose one.
Okay, I want to talk to you about some of I have my favorite comedians, new and old. If I could list my top 3, my top 3, and hear me out about a little in between here, but definitely in the list is Jerry Seinfeld and Dave Chappelle. Those are definitely in the list for me, no question. The third is a little bit up for grabs and probably constantly changing depending how I'm feeling. Norm Macdonald could be in there some days. George Carlin could be in there some days. But then I said, well, Ian, maybe you kind of have to have like a new generation guy as well. And I was like, maybe Aziz for me was probably like my guy before he kind of had to take a break or whatever.
But I think, as far as your top 3, I mean, I love, Norm Macdonald is just the greatest, and Seinfeld obviously is Seinfeld, but I would put like Dave Chappelle like as the shining hypothetical like best we have / will ever have. He's just so remarkable. Like I feel like and there are stories, and I thought it was bullshit, but like there are stories where he's just gone on stage for like 4 hours at the Comedy Store, and it's been just incredible, and he can do that, and like he just spins gold without even trying. Like all of his stuff, like the I think it was called 820 or something, a special he released thing where you just like, I'm going to come up here and talk for 10 minutes and it'll be the most poignant, interesting, insightful conversation anyone's ever, had, or not but monologue.
Now, one guy I did forget in that rotating thing is Bill Burr. Bill Burr, just because of his against the grain humor.
Oh yeah. No, I would definitely put him up there too. Really high up. And have you had the chance to see him, his video where like Philadelphia just like attacks him?
I've seen it on YouTube or heard the audio on YouTube. I haven't Yeah, I've heard it or
Yeah,
something.
no, I just think that's incredible because they hate him, and like a crowd is united in hating him, and he turns it around on them. I think might be, not too early to say, but I really like Sam Morril's come. You know Sam Morril? He's up and
Yeah.
coming New York comedian. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Mark Norman's the other name. Everyone's just hearing all the time, and he was on the AMG Comedy Festival. I was just like, holy shit, I'm on this thing with Mark Norman, like unearned coolness, but it's a cool thing. But who also in other, I think Chris Rock just had a special come out. It wasn't as good as I think anyone thought it was going to be, but I think he still deserves like honorable mentioning. And I think Jim Jeffries is amazing.
Nice. Even I loved Sandler's stand-up special because his movies on Netflix are kind of, other than Uncut Gems, are kind of all crap. His one's for Netflix. But when he came out with that special, I was like, where's this guy's movies? Because this special is like old, great Sandler. I'm like, why can't we take the comedy and stuff you did in this amazing special and translate it to like a feature film?
You're trying. That's it. Like, that's why it's good. And I think that was also good because it's an amalgam of all of these separate sets where like maybe you shouldn't watch Adam Sandler for an hour at a time. Because maybe it's not great, but like when you dice it up in such a fashion, I feel like it's more digestible. But yeah, whereas the Netflix movies are just like, hey, here's this like Brinks truck full of money. Like he shows up and he's already been paid, so he's like, why do I have to do this? Like, and also still like this can be horrible, and they will return to the Sandler factory whenever they feel like it, and I would gladly be in their piece of shit again. So
okay, let's hop into a little something I call TNT. So TNT is topics not trending. Okay. With everything going on in the news today, I don't want to talk about any of that. So basically what I need you to do is just guess whatever I'm trying to tell you. I'm going to try and explain the word that's on here, and you're going to guess it, and then we're going to talk about it.
Sounds like fun.
Okay, this is 3 words, and it's an activity that you would do in the fall once leaves have fallen on your yard, front or back. And let's go with backyard for the sake of the show. Stay on brand. And you would grab this tool to accumulate the leaves. What would you call this activity? I'm gonna go
rake the leaves.
Not the leaves, but what's your backyard? What's the grass?
Rake the grass? Rake the ground?
Blank mower.
Mow the lawn, or rake the lawn? Rake the lawn?
Rake the lawn. That's it.
Oh.
Rake the lawn. You got it. So what do we know about raking the lawn?
Oh man, that was easily the worst activity. This was like such a straight up weekend ruiner. Like, and it was like always on a Sunday when this would happen. Like I would have plans to like play some N64 with my bros, and sure enough, before I could get close to my bike, the fam would be outside raking, and I would get guilted into fucking coming back and raking. There were no earbuds back then. There was a CD player that sucked, and God forbid you have to mow the lawn. Although mowing the lawn, I feel like was easier, and the headphones kind of came around by the time I was of age, let's say. But and my dad had this thing where like we would rake leaves onto this blue tarp, which is so fucking hard to do because it's like scraping butter onto weak ass toast. Like you try to leave on top of a tarp, but the tarp is flapping backwards. The leaves are like not cooperating. It's windy. And then we would take the tarp and we would drag it to this like woodsy area, and typically where we would put bodies. And it was really bad. Like you'd be like hoisting up this tarp and like kicking it with your leg, and oh my god, so this was you brought up some really bad memories. Yeah,
with a lot of different things here. But when something's not fake, it's the blank deal. You'd be like, oh no, this is the blank deal.
Okay.
Do you know what the word would be?
Real?
Yeah. So that's the first word.
Okay.
And then the second word is a bit tougher. Okay, the second word. So if something's not fake, think of. I'm gonna give you another clue, but think of if something's not fake, you would say it's the what you said and then this other word, and it's not deal, but it's picture someone maybe wearing a cowboy hat. I think it's a name of a '70s detective wife duo.
Oh, wait a minute. Is it the real McCoy?
Bingo! The real McCoy. That's
Ooh.
it.
Yeah, I think,
Nice one. What do we know about the real McCoy?
I think the real McCoy, and I may be making this up, but there was a shoe called the McCoy, and then there were imitators who tried to recreate the McCoy, but they all sucked. So they went and, basically they were like the first Nikes. That is what I know, and it could be made up.
Topics.
TNT, baby!
TNT. What's the best thing about Boston people don't know?
I feel like we're very liberal to a fault. Like it's good. Like you can take your dog most places, I feel. And do you like seafood?
Love it.
Best I've ever had. Yeah.
Well, I should say I like sushi. I don't just go out getting seafood. I'm not just like gonna go get a lobster or something. If I was in Boston, obviously I would.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a place called the Uni in Boston, and it's like considered like one of the best.
How do you spell that?
Ever. QNI. No, I think it's just UNI. Uni. But it's
Uni.
I think it's like considered one of the best. Like all of their like Tobiko dishes, like they come with like actual caviar and shit, and it's like unbelievable. I definitely worth checking out.
Best place to eat for the common man. You know, you mentioned Uni for some seafood, but like, where do the locals go? Where am I gonna go if I'm there? Where am I gonna go?
This is a great question. Yeah, we're known for roast beef sandwiches, and and on the North Shore, particularly, like outside of Boston, is where you're gonna find the real good stuff. I might be able to pull up a pic of this absolute diary of incredible meat sandwiches, or maybe no, I didn't cram it, but yeah, there's basically there's something called in New England and North Shore, maybe it's a whole world thing, but it's called a beef three-way, and it's just it's beef, barbecue sauce, cheese, and mayo, and that triumvirate makes an incredible like sandwich.
Is there a special kind of bun that they use or something that makes it so special?
Typically it's an onion bun, and it's just like quite frankly an embarrassing amount of meat for one human to consume, but they're called super beefs, and they lay in corners of
that's awesome.
The galaxy.
So do a bunch of different possible local shops have super beef, their own version of super beef?
They do, and there are a few real McCoys out there as well.
Nice callback. This is great, man. We're going to hop into one last segment. This last segment is called The Gauntlet.
Gauntlet.
So the Gauntlet is existential questions. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just however you see the world.
All right.
So Dave Vadala, thank you for being here. Boston comic Dave Vadala. Step into The Gauntlet.
Boom. It's fucking freezing in here.
Favorite piece of clothing?
Oh, it's right here. I just got this. I've been watching The Sopranos a lot recently, which I'd never seen before. Are you a fan, Ian?
Oh, I love it. It's the greatest show to ever exist.
I agree. And it inspired me to get this this Guido-like jacket that you're going to see.
Please tell me it's the jacket.
No, I don't have the jacket money, but yeah, I was walking around St. Patty's Day like this with my a different green shirt and this jacket, and it's just so airy, and I just love smoking in it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Where does the time go?
Oh God, the time goes to things we say we're gonna do and don't do. My time is mostly going to watching The Sopranos again. I came home last night from a very long car ride and was like so tired, but I wanted to rewatch like 3 episodes of The Sopranos that I haven't seen in like 8 months, and I did it and fell asleep on the couch. It's glorious.
Have you watched the whole thing all the way through?
Yeah. Big fan.
Okay.
Monster fan.
Do you have maybe a favorite episode or something like that? An episode that sticks out?
I like The Wait.
Nice.
Or,
yeah, Ginny Sack. Yeah, it's a great one.
Ginny Sack.
I kind of love how you pick that one. It's a bit further along. A lot of people would say Pine Barrens. I find that's kind of played.
Yeah, that is the episode everyone says is their favorite, and it is a really good one. That's the Diana Valley.
That's kind of like the Common Man episode. That's like if you're a
favorite. Exactly.
That's like, yeah, you're a fan. You don't really, whatever. You're a blue collar watcher if that's your favorite episode.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think mine is Meadowlands. I think it's episode number 4 of season 1. And that was really the episode that hooked me, first of all, to the entire show. I started realizing all the existential deepisms in it and how it was more than just a mob show. And that's where it ends with, basically AJ realizes his dad's in the mob, and it ends with that funeral scene, and it looks like The Godfather. And Tony's like, these people went through World War II. And the mob's like taking the government's taking photos of them from the distance.
Right.
And AJ's just leaning on a casket, looking at his dad, and they're surrounded at it's Uncle Jackie's funeral, and Tony's kind of taking over, and Tony just looks and gives him a wink and Look On Down from the Bridge by Mazzy Star's playing, and I'm just like, whew, I was hooked.
Yeah, no, it's an ingenious show. And what's the other episode for honorable? When they're bugging his house and they put
love that one as well, Mr. Ruggerio's Neighborhood.
It's just like incredible. Yes.
Yeah, that one's really
favorite,
good.
Sopranos character apart from Tony.
Yes. Richie Aprile, I think, is probably my favorite from season 2. Yeah, I think he's just the strongest. I think he was the strongest bad guy. I think season 2 was probably my favorite season. It was very crime drama oriented, and all the stuff with Big Pussy, and all that stuff. So yeah, I love season 2.
Yeah.
Richie Aprile. I also feel like Richie Aprile was the strongest villain for Tony Soprano, even though he was like the shortest. I feel like he was the most intimidating. Like, you had Ralph, Tony B caused some shit in season 5. He was still his friend, but Richie was like a real nemesis.
Definitely, yeah. And his exit is just incredible because you don't see that coming. And I actually only saw this series for the first time during quarantine, like a year ago, and I'm enjoying it way more on the second rewatch or the first rewatch.
I've probably seen it about 5 or 6 times all the way through. I didn't start watching it until it was over. Same thing with Seinfeld. I think I saw the finale, and then I became a fan, and I watched the rest of the show. So I saw the finale when it like aired live for both shows, kind of thing. Or Sopranos, the finale had kind of just finished, and then I was I'm going to get this, and I'm going to burn through it.
Same, and I feel like it, who's to say if knowing the ending affected my enjoying it? Maybe I would have enjoyed it more, but not really. I mean, you really enjoy every episode, like, for different reasons, like, every single time.
Yeah, mine is the layers.
There's so much there.
They say things in season 2 that, and the episodes are an hour long. It's just an offhand line in season 2 that pays off in season 4 later. And if you're not paying attention, or you haven't watched the show 2 or 3 times to catch all that, that's where it really pays off.
No, for sure. Yeah.
All
So
like the
good.
symbolism, how like one line of dialogue means 3 different things sometimes. All the symbolism and all that, how they, very good writing. It's like, so what was one of your favorite things to do as a kid, Dave?
Yeah. I'm obligated to mention backyard 5 more times. But nothing beats the backyard, right? That's what yeah, in the backyard. Yeah, that's where I have the most fun.
Why are we here?
We're here to be better than people that can't be good and spread joy and not be dicks.
And what does the world need most?
Weed. The backyard is the most fun I've ever had. This is the best.
That's Boston Comic, Dave Vadala, everyone. Boston Comic. I appreciate Dave for being here. It was a lot of fun chatting. And as always, keep on the grass.